Hi folks, it's Switchback. Maybe you're already using some of this gear, but these tips are gonna help make your experience with it even better. Links to all of this gear are down in the description. First up, we have a hydration reservoir. And a lot of us really like these for the ease, for the volume it can carry, but a lot of people really don't like the plasticky taste. Fair. Cheaper bladders are going to get you what you pay for. They're going to have more of that taste. And of course, some people are more sensitive to it than others. It may never go away completely, but you can do all the tricks like the lemon juice, the peroxide, the bleach, the baking soda. Do not put them all in there at once. You can try those tricks and they can certainly all help. But the primary culprit is actually this tube right here and not so much the reservoir itself. Additionally, if you're using a reservoir and you're in temps that are at or below freezing, then this tube can freeze, especially of course if there's water in it. You can get an insulator sleeve to go over it and that'll help to a point. But the solution for both of these problems is to blow back the water out of the tube. So just blow a tiny bit until you can hear it or feel it get into the bladder and you're good to go. May not be 100%, but it will help a lot when that water is not sitting in the tube for both problems. I've mentioned in several other videos that one of the reasons I prefer my quilt over my sleeping bag is that the sleeping bag's hood is pretty much useless for me. I am a stomach sleeper and it just tends to be more cumbersome. I can't even really get my pillow into it in a comfortable way. I usually tend to set it on top. Even if you do use a sleeping bag, you may very well benefit from this piece of equipment. This is the Catabatic Crestone hood and it is so cozy. It moves with you. It has these little shoulder straps to kind of keep it in place. Yes, I'll demonstrate. Excuse my hair. Goes over. It moves with me. You can see that it stays in place even when my head goes side to side. It's pretty darn comfy and it's super duper cozy. If you use a closed cell foam pad, not all pads are created equal. You can see I've had this one for a couple of years, like 9. Different brands recommend using one side over the other, up versus down. You will absolutely maximize the effectiveness of your pad knowing whether it should be shiny side up or shiny side down. For example, Nemo recommends that you use their Switchback pad with the shiny side down. However, Thermarest recommends that you use their pads shiny side up. One frustrating thing that I found is that information is not always super easy to find. And unless you want to take the time to call the company, which most people don't, the way that I have found that's actually pretty consistent and maybe not foolproof, look at the ways that it is demonstrated on the official website for that brand. If it is demonstrated with the shiny side up, then that, in my experience, has been consistent with brands that recommend it shiny side up. Versus if you look at, say, Nemo's website, they're going to have it shiny side down. Most companies are going to demonstrate a product in the way that they intend for you to use it. But again, perhaps not foolproof. If you're getting any value, be sure to like and subscribe. And if you want to help support this channel, check out my Patreon or my YouTube membership down below. One thing I like to take on some trips is a sun umbrella, but I also like to hike with trekking poles. Since I'm not an octopus, how do I do both? This trick can actually be used for said trekking poles if they're not in use, but I'm going to do that right now. What I have figured out works for me is I have some of these little bungees, and I got these ones from REI. I'm going to link to the ones from Gossamer Gear. They're exactly the same thing, but it just has a little bungee hook. You can pinch it here to loosen or tighten. And what I do is you can figure out what works for your pack, but loop 2 of them somewhere on your strap where they won't slide up or down. So you can wrap one of them around the strap, but don't do both. So this one is here. I have another one that's kind of slid down here, but I'll fix that in a minute. I will go ahead and open this. I don't get my watch in the way. So here's this lovely thing. What I will do here is wrap that around the handle there. But one alone obviously isn't going to do the job. This is why you need 2. So I'm going to slide the other one up under the bottom of it, or you can just wrap it around. Tighten it up, and not perfect, but definitely works well. Do this for a minute. You can see that my hands are now available for my trekking poles, and I can efficiently hike up and down and not kill my knees, and it's better. But you can see that even with the moving, I mean, it bounces around, but not like in a way that's really going to bother you that much on a hike. I'll show you how I do it with my trekking poles here too. Again, not a perfect system, but definitely helpful when you need it. So you can either put them up more, down more. Again, work with the shape of your particular pack, but I have definitely done this. And it's really nice when you're just trying to like move along a flat area, or you're trying to take videos, or you're trying to take pictures or whatever. I do love having a way to store this on the front side where I can easily put it on, take it off in my fickle way that I am. And since we're here with my pack on, this little bad boy, a lot of people have asked me about this. I got this on Etsy a few years ago, and I love it, and they still sell the same one, and they have a different one now that has more of a bungee in the top, which is pretty nice. I kind of wish mine did. This particular one can fit a Nalgene bottle, but they have a variety of sizes. You can do whatever works for you. If I don't have this in use, I sometimes have my phone in here. I can put my selfie stick in there. It's pretty convenient. I could probably even fit my rain skirt. I'll take a look. It might be a little bit more slick, but you know, I can put some stuff in there that I need handy. It is quite nice to have. So of course, one problem that this solves is the total lack of pockets on the front of your straps of a backpack. And maybe a backpack and a hydration vest need to go and have a baby, and we can all be happy with having access to stuff on the front. Even the waist belt pockets can be a challenge, especially for us fluffier folks who end up using more of the strap than others, and they're further back. Plus, those pockets tend to be pretty small. Enter the waist pack, and any waist pack will do. This is my newest one. This is by Osprey. It'll go, you've seen in many of my, well, maybe you haven't seen, but in many of my trip videos, you'll see that I have a waist pack on, even with the waist belt of my pack. No issue. And I carry this in camp with me. I hang my Garmin from it. It works beautifully. I carry my Garmin even if I'm going to the bathroom. Like, I carry it with me all the time. If you don't want to put it around your pack or around your waist, you can put it on the front of your pack and use it as a chest pack. Magic! Being able to access all your crap right here. Oh my God, it's so great. I put snacks, I have my pocket knife, I have my lighter, I have my whatever, like, it's pretty handy to have. And if you're curious about this exact one, it actually tucks into a little inside pocket here, and it's just teeny tiny. I love it. So let's say you want to cook something that's a little more than just adding water to food. Most backpacking stoves are going to be like this. They're basically a blowtorch. So let me show you a little trick. You can see how it's a blowtorch, and it's just going to do damage to the center of your pan there, like that. So you can diffuse the flame by putting on a can lid. I'm going to turn it way down first. So if you just rest this on the pot supports, you can see the difference in how the flame rolls. And then, it's not perfect, but it spreads that flame a bit. Now, a couple tips. One, it's going to be hot. I'm not touching this for a few minutes. Two, be careful of jagged edges. So I use a can opener that creates smooth edges, and I'll link that down below. If you use a can with BPA, then the underside of this is going to melt and burn, and it's kind of gross. So try to use a BPA-free can lid if you can. It'll really only do the melting and burning thing the first couple of times. Few of us camp 100% of the time on perfect ground where you can stake out your tent anywhere you like. And the part of the challenge of that is that guy lines that come on tents are pretty tiny. So I really like having a little versatility, especially if I have to do little rock, big rock. And so I have replaced the guy lines of all of my backpacking tents, at least, with this. This is a very inexpensive kit that comes with some amazing stakes as well. And again, I'll link it down below. This is the Light Outdoors guy line and stakes kit. And I have gotten so many tents out of just this bit of cordage that's here. Don't do this, whatever you do. I've tied it to all of the stakes. I love this. And it doesn't stretch, which is good. I'll put the size of it here on the screen because I don't know it off the top of my head. But even if you don't necessarily need the length, it's nice to have a way to raise your rainfly up a little bit for more ventilation. It just gives you a lot more options. And I've been using this for 2 or 3 years now with good success. If you have a tent that came with poles, what are you doing not having a Durston? But anyway, if you have a tent that came with poles, somewhere in there is probably, where'd it go? Hello? I had it out of here the other day. Where'd you go? Where'd you go? Really? Oh, it's on the ground. That's me. That's me right there. But you may have wondered what this little bad boy is right here. This is a brace for your poles. Now, it's less likely to happen on these metal poles like this, but I've also had a tent dancing in the wind, so you just never know. And if one of those poles breaks and you're out in the middle of nowhere, then you're going to be kind of screwed. But if you have your brace with you, you'll slide that onto the broken section over wherever it is broken, and that will hold it at least in place enough to get you through until you can get home. So you can see how that will provide that support. Circling back to the hydration reservoir, if you have thought about backpacking with one, but we're not sure how to be able to refill it without taking it completely out of your pack, then you'll enjoy the hack that is in this video. Be sure to like and subscribe so that you don't miss a thing, and I will look forward to seeing you next time. Thank you so much for watching. Bye!